Just the other day I was driving and my power steering return line developed a major leak which resulted in the complete loss of power steering. My power steering return line, which you can see right here, is about 4 feet long and it's made of steel and rubber hose. In the center of the rubber hose was a hole which I temporarily repaired using a hose barb connector. Now the problem is when you're repairing older hoses, like you can see right here, the rubber, it becomes very hard as it ages. So when you try and make a repair, when you insert the hose barb, it has a tendency to leak because the rubber is not as pliable as it was and it will not make a good seal. Just out of curiosity, I called a couple of repair shops and got a price of around $325 to replace the return line. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can make a lasting repair that can be made for about $7. You'll need a new section of hose, 2 clamps, and a mini rotary tool such as a dremel with a cutoff wheel. To get started, let me jack up the car so you can see exactly where we'll be working. Okay, so right over here you can see we have a steel line. Then we have this sleeve crimp connector. And on the other side is the rubber hose. So the reason why they end up ripping the whole thing out and replacing everything, even though you don't need it, is because of this connector. In order to replace the hose, what you need to do is just make a straight cut from the end of the connector to where it goes to where the pipe is, or the metal or the steel pipe is. And you want to be very careful that you do not cut into that steel tube, otherwise you're going to have a leak. So you just want to make a cut going straight in that direction. Once the cut has been made, you can use a hacksaw or you can use a dremel with a cutoff wheel. You're going to take a slot screwdriver, insert it into the groove, and pry it apart. Once that's done, you'll be able to pull off the hose and the connector. Okay, you can see it came off perfectly. It's right here. Fell right down. Perfect cut. No damage at all to the steel tube. And make sure when you cut you don't go too deep on this side, because 1.25 inches away from this raised edge going to the hose side is where the barb is. So now I'm able to grab this hose, pull it off. But before I do that, I have one more of these to do, going up and about 1 foot to the right towards the driver. Let me rip that off, then I'm going to come back, then I'll show you the new hose installed, and then we'll tighten down the clamps. You can see the rubber hose clamped onto the steel tube. And looking down into the engine compartment, you can see where the hose connects to the steel tube. Okay, with everything back together, the reservoir is filled to the maximum line, so I'm going to start up the engine, let it run for a little while, and then check the level one more time. Everything sounds good, the level's staying at the maximum level, and I checked the clamps on each end and there's no leaks. Now keep in mind, you can also do this on low pressure air conditioning lines. You have to use the correct hose, of course, and I would recommend using double clamps, and you can also use this on transmission lines. Guys, that is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to rate, thumbs up, and share. Thanks for watching.